It's been 20 years since Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban arrived in cinemas. I still solemnly swear I'm up to no good. Yeah, it's been 20 years since Harry Potter 3 arrived in cinemas, and not only was it one of my favorite books out of the whole series, Prisoner of Azkaban, probably my favorite, this is one of my favorite movies. Alfonso Cuarón is at the director's chair. He did A Little Princess in the 90s. This is before he did Roma and Gravity. I love what he does with this film. And this is a film that starts to change things, you know. They didn't adapt Prisoner of Azkaban 100% faithfully. They rearranged certain things, and this is where we're not going to get like a one-to-one adaptation like we did with Chamber of Secrets or Sorcerer's Stone, you know. This is where the films really start to get an identity of their own, I feel, away from the novels. But the magic is still here. Christopher Columbus produces. And you know, as a 90s kid, I grew up reading the Harry Potter books, but also I was the same age as the main characters, so I was growing up with them on film, and that's something that's very cool. Younger kids kind of went through that with the MCU in cinema, as far as like growing up with a series of films leading somewhere, you know. And I felt that way with the last one, but you didn't think about the ending because the books weren't even concluded yet when this came out. I think Order of the Phoenix was barely going to come out, if not was already out. This movie was highly anticipated, and another thing, we had the sad passing of Richard Harris as Albus Dumbledore, so they had to search for Dumbledore. Judi Dench was mentioned, Ian McKellen, so many actors were mentioned for taking over Dumbledore, but we had Michael Gambon. He created a unique bridge between Richard Harris's Dumbledore to his own, and he made the role his own while also honoring what came before to make it feel seamless when you watch it. There's many changes that aid in this with the uniforms. They're not as strict. They're wearing clothes more loosely. They're starting to wear regular clothes, like Ron and Hermione are wearing regular clothes. That's a bit different and controversial to some, I know, but I kind of liked seeing the kids feel more like teenagers in this one. And the story is just phenomenal. What I also love about this specifically is that it doesn't really involve Voldemort at all. It's like a completely different standalone adventure. The Dementors are creepy. Those are like the race from Lord of the Rings. Gary Oldman as Sirius Black. Harry Potter feeling like that he had something to do with his parents' death and everything. That whole revelation there. Emma Thompson as a professor. There's so many cool things there. Professor Lupin, I love the relationship he has with Harry Potter, but also the twist that goes on with the story. Elements of time travel make this an incredibly exciting watch. My mother and I went to go see this on opening day. It was summer. And that was crazy because Harry Potter always came out around Christmas time, but this one was in the summer. It was a summer release. But it was so great, and Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson are just awesome in this. They've been awesome since day one. They're perfect for their roles, but like here you starting to see the growth. Draco Malfoy was a bigger punk than ever, but I loved how Hermione just gave him a right hook, you know? That was awesome. Seeing Hagrid here, and the whole time travel element of like Hermione making it to classes, but also perspective, you know. You see and hear strange things throughout the movie. You don't realize that time travel is an element until you get to the second half of the film, and that's cool in repeated viewing, seeing that it's Harry and Hermione traveling back through time, and it's actually them trying not to run into their past selves. Like, that is cool. Like, it was well thought out. Speaking of stuff that was well thought out, I love the revelation of Peter Pettigrew, you know, Scabbers, Ron's rat. You know what's cool about that? You remember the transformation spell where he was trying to turn his rat into a cup and it still stayed as a rat even though it was a cup? It's because that spell was already performed to turn Peter Pettigrew into a rat. So that's a cool level of detail when you rewatch the movies, you know. So interesting that they thought that through, and I love this movie. And then who could forget the score and the song, like something wicked this way comes. Speaking of which, that's a good underrated Disney movie, but I love Fred and George here. Seeing the map, they always introduce different things in the novels, and the film showed that. Like, every Harry Potter builds upon the previous one and always does something different to make it feel unique on its own. And this is one excellent film. Despite the deviations they take from the novel as a film, it's one of the best, if not the best, Harry Potter. To me, I love the first one the best, but this one's right up there, as well as Deathly Hallows. I love parts 1 and 2 of that. So those three, I think, are like my favorites. And this movie, I can't believe it's 20 years, but in many ways, it does feel like 20 years. I was the same age as the kids here. So yeah, I was a teenager. And this was quite something. And after this film, it really had a big gap before Goblet of Fire. I was like in middle school when this one came out, and I was like already in high school by the time Goblet of Fire came out. It took a while. They also had to wait for J.K. Rowling to finish the novels as well. So, but unlike George R.R. Martin, she actually finished them, so they didn't have to do something original. And I love this adaptation because after this, I have mixed feelings because this is what started like deviating the films from the books in many ways in the series. But then when you watch it, it still has that magic and it doesn't omit too many things, Where like Goblet of Fire onward, especially like Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince, they really condense and omit a bunch of things from the novels. So it'll be interesting to see what a series reboot would do if they are 100% faithful to the novels. But regardless, this cast is perfect, and 20 years later, I feel sad for the actors who have passed away, but their work lives on forever on film and theater, and this is one of them. And it's great seeing the kids grow up in front of the audience's eyes, and this was a stepping stone for not only Harry Potter adaptations, but this film series in general, and for these actors, you could really start to see them get their own identity, starting with this one. You had the first two, but this is where things start to feel unique to a film medium. If you haven't read the Harry Potter novels, I highly recommend them, but most likely you have, and you grew up with these movies. Let me know your memories of when you first saw Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Let me know down in the comments below. I love seeing the hippogriffs. I'm enjoying playing Hogwarts Legacy right now, and yeah. Let me know when you first saw it. What's your favorite book? What's your favorite movie? Let me know your thoughts on the book and film of Prisoner of Azkaban. Check out these other videos for more content. Till next time, everyone.